Welcome, beautiful queens, beautiful souls. This live is all about the journey of the beautiful woman you're seeing, Marine. She has been a client with me for 4 months on the Awakend Diva journey. And today we're going to talk about your journey, where you've been, where you are now. And I'm really excited to talk to you about it. And for everybody who's new to my Instagram world, my profile, I'm Christina Simona, and I'm an empowerment coach for women and quantum energy healer. And my specialty is diving into the subconscious and really releasing all those stories that keep you stuck in fear, anxiousness, transforming it into confidence. And I'm giving directly the word to Marine so you can say some words about what is your juice, who you are, and also how we met, because that is a really interesting way how we found each other. So, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much to have me here. And yeah, so I'm also a coach. My topic is really more about emotions. So emotional awareness and transmutation. So it's basically like I'm here to help people process their emotion, guide them through all the process. So they really get from like one emotion you would call negative, there is no negative emotions, to a more positive ones, because you always end up there. So it's basically, yeah, helping people go through their journey and feeling better in their lives. And yeah, and how we met is really fun. I've been traveling for a few months, and I decided to finally go to Bali. I didn't do that before that time, and I ended up in Uluwatu in a women's circle where you were there. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I remember the first time I saw you, I really felt like, oh wow, this woman has such a strong aura. So I was already like, interesting. And I remember we had this one session with the other girls from the circle. We were at the cafe and we were doing like a sort of like a vision board for the next 2 weeks. And I remember you were the first one to speak, and you were like saying a few stuff. And one of the things you wanted to call in for the 2 weeks was like, I want to have 2 clients. And in my head, I was like, well, you already have a client. Because like the thing is, like, I've been wanting to be coach for already like 1 or 2 years, but I was waiting to meet someone who I felt I could trust, someone who I could really share things with, and I could really feel that with you. And when it was my turn, I was like, well, I'm looking for a coach, looking at you. And yeah, that was then so fun. Then we had also our vision, like the clarity call, and I could really felt like I felt really, really close to you. Like I felt there was a connection, and also most importantly, I felt that I had the trust and the safety to really express myself and to go to the really deep things. And this is, yeah, that's why I embarked on the journey with you.
Mm. Yeah,
Mm.
thank you for sharing. And where would you say have you been before we started working? What were your challenges? Where have you been in life? How did you feel?
Like the general feeling from me was really feeling lost because I've been also on my own, like I've been on my personal journey for some years already, and it really accelerated in the 2 last years. And when you start to really, uncover many things, at some point it feels like you're walking on the bridge, and I was no longer in the like the old me, but I was also not yet the new me. So I was kind of feeling stuck in between. And when I was there in Bali and when we met, I was really in a space, like in a moving space. Like I felt like, yeah, lost, like also lacking some confidence, like some stuff you wouldn't see so much in the outside. But when I see myself now, I really feel that before I was not so grounded. I felt like a bit all over the place. Also like not daring expressing my femininity, like not daring taking responsibility. Yeah, I mean, there were a few stuff that really made me feel like, I would like that would be more shoulders in and be like, where am I? What the fuck am I doing? Who am I in the end? And that was really the one thing. And also lacking energy. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, who am I? Wow.
Mm, mm.
Strong question. So, where are you now after our 4 months together? Where do you see the shifts, the transformations, and everything you spoke about? How do you feel now in these areas?
I think that's kind of the crazy thing, because you feel like, life is not a Disney movie, but it kind of feels like, with theta healing, like it's like, I have my checklist and, oh yeah, that's gone, that, oh, much better, better. And it's like, it feels like in almost every aspect, I mean, the aspects we could really target, and we had 4 months to target like really a bunch of things. And I really feel like for me, like the groundedness is really the one thing that I can feel like I feel like much more centered, like I'm taking the space, like I'm daring to actually really take my space. And this is like so freaking cool. It feels amazing. Like it gives me also more confidence to go for my things. And I can see also it's easier to set boundaries and in my relationship with others, not just with my family, you know. I mean, I see stuff changed, not necessarily from them, but on the way I react with them. Some old patterns that went away, and also in saying no when I need to say no, like for stupid things. Because like one of the stuff we worked on, and that was like the first session, was like the fear of rejection. And oh yeah, that's actually something crazy with working with you, is like always in the next 24 hours, I will always have life coming back at the door and be like, okay, you worked on that. Here's the experience and let's see what happens. And so after the first session, I had that you had another appointment, and I could feel that it was my time to leave. And I remember that usually in those situations, I would really feel triggered and like I would feel rejected. But at that time, I really could see the difference between, no, now it's the time and space for the other person, and it's my time to leave. And I didn't feel like triggered. And I was like, okay, those 4 months are going to be interesting. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
The thing that you said, like in the next 24 hours, you got presented a situation, and you named theta healing. So whoever is not known to that, one of the tools I'm
Mm,
using in my mentoring is the theta healing technique. It's one for me, the most effective, fastest ways to really change in the subconscious mind, old patterns, bring old wounded parts of us into love. And what sometimes can happen is that either new stuff comes up, or you have peace for some quiet, or life gives you the same situation, and it's not like
mm,
life tests you. I mean, I believe that we test ourselves. It's like our soul testing ourselves, like where, and it's not about like a test of failing or winning. It's more like you have another opportunity to choose anew how to behave, how to, if you react or act up on that situation. And I think that's what you
mm,
spoke about, right? You had like a new chance to see if you still have the trigger, or you can choose differently how to react, right?
mm. Yeah, and also it's probably not life bringing it to me in the sense that those are things that are happening constantly in life. But because we worked on that specific topic, it's like, if I tell you to see only the red cars, you would see, oh, there are so many red cars, much more than usually. Well, no, you just pay attention to it. And I feel like that was the same. But so I was really aware that, okay, usually I have a reaction, I have a trigger, but it was gone. So I was like, wow. Mm.
Yes. And how do you feel in your sense of self now? When you said you had this question before, who am I? How do you feel now about who you are?
Mm. Um, it's still like, I think this is still a question that's like just so hard to answer anyways, and it takes a whole life, and during the whole life the answer constantly changes. But I'm, compared to before where it felt like I had an urge to find myself and to really define this who I am, now it's more like I feel more defined. There are more things that I see about myself, because if I'm able to say no to certain things and have my boundaries, then it means that if I know what is a no for me, then it means I know myself better. But also I don't find this urge, like I don't have this big pressure I used to put on myself on finding out who I am. Because I mean, in the end, what's the most important is like how I feel with myself. And I feel, because I have more this groundedness, I feel also safe to be me. I'm enough. Like those things. Yeah, those things we
I'm
worked
so
on.
celebrating you. Oh, wow. Yes.
So in the end, like it really feels, actually, I'm having the realization right now, honestly. But I really feel like I don't even have to urge myself to define who I am, in the sense that I'm safe to be me. So it doesn't matter in the end who I am, because I'm just happy and good to be me. Oh wow, that's
Wow. 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 Wow.
mm,
Wow.
mm,
Downloads. Yes.
mm,
Ooh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that is
mm,
a struggle, right? We all encounter when we put ourselves into boxes, either from how we were growing
mm,
up, or genetic, or how the people around us. Even in Bali, you can find so many boxes you could fit in. But you said it's really yeah, it's really profound and beautiful when you feel safe to be you. Doesn't matter in which box you fit because you're you, right? And at the end, as women,
Mm,
anything, we can change our mind every day how we express, right? So about
mm.
how do you feel in your womanhood now? Like, how do you feel in expressing your femininity in yeah, being a woman?
I have to say, I feel like much better on that side, in the sense that before, if I would have some looks on me, it would be really and this is a crazy thing because I would like really expect to have attention on me, like I would be like craving for admiration. But whenever it would come, I would be like, oh, okay, 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 I'm going away from that. And now I feel that I really stand more in my feminine power, like in my feminine energy. I know it's still like a process. I still don't understand everything about it. But for example, when I receive a compliment and when I'm being seen, I'm really acknowledging it and I really welcome it. I allow myself to be seen, basically. And yeah, it's like I take the space and I allow it to be. I'm still like finding out who is the feminine me because I've been like blocking her away for so long. But I really, yeah, dare to welcome her more. And I also feel like it's really subtle shifts, but I have moments where I do feel more like sensual as well in a way, like I feel, yeah, I'm a woman. That's true. you know, like yeah, I don't know if it makes sense, but yeah, that's the feeling. Mm,
Absolutely. And thank you so much for your honesty and vulnerability here right now. I'm sure that when you're tuning into this, every woman will somehow resonate. And I think that is a very important part for transformation. It's this honesty where we're standing. And you telling me, well, I
mm,
was going to do that, but then I pushed it away. Thank you so much for speaking that out. I think a lot of us have that like this before we start
mm,
into, when we're like running away from the pain. So thank you so much for bringing that into the space and being so open about it. Yeah. Yeah, I really honor that. And
mm.
if I was listening, maybe it gives you permission to be honest about that in your own self and also see through Marine, you can change things. We don't have to be stuck in that or right. Like, okay. Um,
Mm.
so what else shifted for you when you talk about you said before you were like afraid of taking responsibility. Did something change there for you or responsibility? Also, you said you're an emotional awareness coach. Like, what about your purpose? How do you feel in that right now?
And actually, that was a lot about the last sessions, like the topic of the last sessions. Like, I mean, the thing for me is that for example, if I come back to the topic of taking responsibility, like it's funny because I started to have a feeling for that, but during our last session, we really pinpoint what was the issue, and it was like for me, I didn't dare taking responsibility because I was afraid I would lose my freedom. And during the session, I remember also like started to cry and being like, wow. Okay. And that was really, for me, that was the thing that was really holding me back for so many things. Like procrastination, we always say that it comes from a fear. And you always think it's like the fear of failing. But like in my case, I found out that, okay, no, that was the fear of actually losing my freedom. And honestly, I've seen like recently, I've been, this to-do list that you have for ages, and there are so many things on it, and you never do any of it. I I started to do more of them, and actually feeling like satisfaction from doing it. Like it sounds so little, but for me it's really big because I know usually how I'm feeling in front of a to-do list, and it feels like most of the time like overwhelming and really horrible, and like I would rather put it away and do even something opposite from the to-do list. Like doesn't make sense. And now I'm really like, it's not only doing those things, but I dare looking at the paper and being like, okay, and I do this and that, and I keep adding stuff. And it's like, it doesn't feel as overwhelming as it used to before. Or like, I would really be paying attention to the feeling and become super aware of it. It's like, yeah, so freaking cool. And also in terms of like my purpose, me being a coach, I feel like this is also what has been taking me away from really putting myself out there more and really like to dare stepping into my purpose was because I was afraid of losing my freedom. Like at the moment, I'm a digital nomad traveling, and I'm like, I want to have my space. It's so important. And because of also some previous session we did before, I realized that I never really had this space for me. So for me, it was like I had to realize how freedom was so important for me, because I didn't have that before. And because we managed to like shift that and I don't know, like put that away in terms of energies, I really feel that now taking responsibility is like, yeah, it's not like a monster anymore. Like
Mm.
I don't really know how to explain that, but it felt like not only I understood what was going on, but we already shifted that in terms of energies. And it's like, yeah, as if there was like a, you know, like there are some stairs and there was something blocking from it, and now I could actually open it, and now I can go on the next level. So yeah,
Mm.
no, that feels freaking amazing. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, like that you feel free to act upon your own will, and you're not blocking your own will anymore, right?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I don't have those fears also. Like it's gone. Yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, we can't take responsibility if it's still linked to a lot of negative traits, or maybe that is something I'm sure a lot of women can see themselves in when we talk about being the mother of the people
Mm,
around us.
mm,
And
mhm,
uh, one you can talk about that too, because when we are growing up and we are so quickly responsible for things we should not be because we're actually
mm,
little, but we take that because we can, because maybe that's not our first rodeo in this lifetime. But what happens is there can be a resentment to have responsibility. And it's not about that we're dumb and we're lazy, not at all. It's just we don't want to go back to these times where we felt like we took so much burden and we couldn't breathe. So naturally, we link freedom with not being able to respond to what is needed, because that's responsibility, being able to respond. So that is a freaking amazing thing you talk about that is so important to shift, right? So
mm,
you can step into this empowered diva that you are, to be able to respond to your own desires, to your own decisions that you make. That is for all of us very important. Yeah, it's often a lot
mm.
of healing. So if you want to talk about this, being the mother of the mother, if you
Yeah,
want
I was
to.
about to say that because like you just opened up like you opened up the book. Yeah, yeah. No, this is that was also I think in our last, probably in the last session as well. It was like also such, yeah, that was such a crazy shift for me, because I had, and actually I remember there was actually something I told you about already from the beginning. Like we had some sessions and I was like, I feel like I could have a closer relationship to people, but I don't really allow myself to like go into the relationship and feel it fully, like being fully immersed. And I felt like there was always like a sort of like a filter between like me and people, like even the closest one. And I had to realize, okay, I'm also realizing it a bit now, but this filter was actually the like feeling like a mother to the people, like, and the feeling like a mother, I had also to come to the realization that I felt like I had to be the mom, because this is how I will get the love from people. That's how I will not get rejected. That's how I will kind of survive in this world, because that's how I got taught, like unconsciously in my education. That's like how it was brought up to me. And I never realized, I mean, now I understand so much of like what's happening in my head and why I'm behaving a certain way with people. It feels like there is always like, if I give, then I receive in return. Like if I give, they will have admiration and love for me or something like this. And so being in the position of the mother for me was really like a survival mode. And it's not serving me at all, because it's like literally it's cutting, that was actually cutting me, like the real me, from the other people. And if you take that away, I can really feel how it's so much more flowy. I could even say, this is a crazy thing, I could say the same thing to people, and but it will come from a different place. Instead of a place of please, please, please give me attention, it will be more like, yeah, that's me, that's how it comes. And you don't expect to receive something else, or it's like same thing happening but different way of doing it, and it makes the whole difference. Mm.
Mm, 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 mm. Anything else that you feel called to share? What either letting go you called in during the 4 months that you feel like you want to share with the people who are watching? How do you feel complete?
Mm. I mean, honestly, like it's like there were also so many things, but this is like really the main things, with maybe one thing also like the relationship with myself. I'm talking about relationship with like others, but most importantly is like also my relationship to myself. Like we did like this one exercise you gave me and that was super powerful. Like, you asked me to have a picture of myself being young. And it's like for every day for like 21 or 40 days, you ask me to, you just look at the picture and you tell yourself like really nice stuff. Could be like, I love you, you're so beautiful, I'm proud of you, and those things. And I feel like this exercise really had a tremendous impact on my relationship with myself in like building some sort of like love and a sense of safety and like, it's okay. I understand you. I feel you. And I feel it really brought so much more compassion inside of me. And yeah, I feel like I'm like I got my back. Like it's like okay, we're still we're still on this way going around. The bridge is like almost there. I know it's like up and downs in my life, but I know that I got my back. And this is a cool thing. Mm.
Mm, mm,
Mm, mm,
she
mm.
got her back. Yeah.
Ah.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow.
Mm,
Amazing.
yeah.
All right. I feel like that is an amazing statement to end this conversation. You got your
I think
back.
so too.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much for journey,
Mm,
for your trust, for your courage to jump into everything, to implement the things, to just
mm,
do. And, really, really, it was such an amazing, amazing time. And I'm very excited to see what's coming from you, sharing your beautiful gifts,
mm.
the whole world, that you really carry inside of yourself. Yeah, so thank you to
Yeah,
you.
thank you so, so much. And also, I think like for people watching this, I think it's really important also to know that I went on the 4 months journey, and I think it made a big difference because like it also gave us the time to really connect and build some trust for each other. And I feel like from session to session, it felt like also not just a journey, but we were like building a story. And it's easier, like, we start in some session, we start to have new characters coming, and like you start to understand more of like where I'm coming from. And then from session to session, you're like, oh yeah, remember in that session what happened? And then it feels really like we're building this, like rebuilding the story together. And I feel like the 4 months was really, really helpful for that. I mean, 5 weeks would be still beautiful, but here you really have a sense of like continuity, and also because you're available like all the times through message. So it really feels like you have a co-pilot with you all the way. And that was, yeah, for me, that was freaking important. And I think this is also what allowed me to really properly open up, because I need more time to process. Sometimes I really need time to process things and integrate. And so the 4 months was really perfect for me to learn things and slowly, come out of the shell and be like, oh, hey, okay, Christina is a friend. Now I get that, like a proper friend. So, yeah, thank you so, so much for everything, because I really feel, and you saw it also, like from when we first met to now, I really feel like a different person. It's
Yeah.
like the way I was speaking before, it would be like much like high pitched tone and kind of unsure and like going around. And now I feel much more like grounded in my center, like really present. And this is like, oh, yeah, I think thank you wouldn't be enough, but thank you.
Mm,
Mm,
mm, mm.
mm, mm, mm,
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Um, yeah, I feel like this is complete. I don't have anything to add. Then thank you for your time, for your space. Thank you for everybody who watched this live. If you want to share something, maybe you took something from this too, share it in the comments. If you have questions, feel free to DM me. If you want to check out Indigo Flow Coaching and her beautiful work, do that too. I'm gonna tag you under this video. And otherwise, sending you lots of love, and
mm,
to everybody who listened to this. And yeah.
mm.
Oh,
Thank you so, so much.
bye.
Bye.